Welcome back to the channel, and tonight we're going to be hunting Nursilla and another monster that'll pop up about halfway through the video. So Nursilla is a returning monster from a couple previous games that's actually a really fun spider. Well, I can't remember what they're called. Neopteran? Yeah. She has always been a fun creature. I remember in the beta and before she was actually officially announced, since Gypceros was announced first, a lot of people just kind of assumed she would end up being in the game because we knew there was one spider already, and she wears a Gypceros skin, so it just made sense. They have kept most of her attacks intact, but she had a few little surprises, and she did put up a much bigger fight than Lalabarina did. I think Lalabarina is a much prettier fight and a cooler looking spider in the terms of being elegant. Nursilla definitely would be better at invoking the arachnophobia, though. She's always had a really intimidating, just dark appearance to her, but it's good seeing her back, and it's a cool fight. It maintains the normal sort of feel that you would expect out of Nursilla, but looking prettier and upgraded for a newer generation of systems. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit in the fight with the commentary and let you all get caught up with me because there's one particular thing I want to talk about.
So many sights left unseen. The end. How peculiar.
Over here, Bob! I'm your target!
The end. How peculiar. So many sights left unseen. I am what fate wills we must. So many sights
So I start raiding for supplies as we go in here, but there's one kind of cool thing that you might be able to see for a second. And that is whenever she gets into her nest. Got the menus in the way. Her young. So she has a bunch of Nursilla hatchlings in the ring with her. That was a really good, creepy, crawly touch. There you go. You can see the little horde of the bastards moving along on the ground right there. Now that really added a cool layer to this fight. I didn't expect them to actually have baby Nursillas walking around and them actively be part of the battle and not just be regular endemic life that barely have any effect on the match or are super obnoxious in the match. Those guys actually have an effect on the way this match plays out, and it's cool seeing those little details like that get worked in. It makes you excited to see what sort of ideas they might come up with in the future and how they might take that particular idea and just twist it or turn around and do something even further with it with other monsters. But overall, still Nursilla, not super different from the older versions. But cool to see her back, and she's a former monster that I'm glad to see in a current edition of the game. So I'll see you guys in a moment for the next monster.
Snap out of it! Leave this to me. Heels inbound. Almost there.
So these guys popped up in a lot of the previews as big pack monsters, and Hirabami is kind of interesting. It seems like the Leviathan skeleton just kind of put up in the air and floating around. Although realistically, it reminds me way more of Paolumu. Not really a big fan of it. It could be the fact that they force you to fight it in a way where there's a bunch of them clustered together. So you have to hit it with these large dung bombs that you have to get out of your supply sack and see them scattered. I know what they're doing. They're trying to ensure that you've learned the mechanic of scattering the groups of monsters at this point. But I don't know. He does some damage, but I don't like things that are basically up in the air 90% of the time. There is a point, and there's certain floaty points where he's like that and he's down low, but I don't know. I guess after I get to know him a little bit and learn how to sort of force him more into these positions, it won't be as bad. But there was something about the fight that just didn't click very well with me. And this is the first of the newer monsters that really just hasn't been all that interesting to me. But I guess not everything is going to work super well. Fortunately, I'm not all that interested in the armor. That obviously means that some part of his is going to end out tied to some piece of gear that I either want or need in order to hit a meta set. So I will probably end up having to kill him 500,000 different times. Hopefully not, but I don't know. Maybe he gets better in high rank. Maybe he gets a few more moves, or just becomes a little bit more interesting. Or maybe once I get the farms up and running and can easily put together flash bombs, I'll be able to flash bomb spam him out of the air and just punish him really heavily for being irritating. I don't know. We'll see. I have pretty high hopes for their overall plans for the game because so far, overall, I'm very satisfied. And I look forward to making other videos about the game. I've been kind of brainstorming ideas as I went along. I know not a lot of people are really watching these. Most people kind of drop off pretty quickly. But I think once we get far enough away from the release and I can actually start putting monster titles in the videos and maybe start doing some other content that's just about the creatures or about in-game or doing fights that aren't just in the middle of the story, we might be able to make some more interesting things happen. For the time being, this is about as interesting of a thing as I can make without really, let's just say, neglecting my family and my job. All those unfortunate adult priorities and responsibilities, right? Nah, I love my family and I love my job. I'm happy to have them. This is just a fun hobby that I'm trying to turn into something that can pay for itself. Anyway, you all have a good night. And remember, if I can beat it, so can you.